What if I were to tell you that the only reason President Joe Biden wanted the UAP legislation passed is because he wanted it to distract from RFK Jr. running against him in the 2024 presidential election? That's the story I have today, y'all. So let's jump in. I know it sounds juicy. So Mike Disclosure from Twitter, that's what he's claiming as a confidential source in the Senate, okay, who has revealed transcripts from a phone call from the White House between Chuck Schumer and President Joe Biden. Now, what I'm about to show you is supposed to be word for word accurate. So please leave a like down below what you think about this. Comment down below if you think this is real or not. I'll tell you my thoughts in a moment. And please hit that subscribe button, y'all. We're trying to get to 3,000 before Christmas. Hi, I'm Patrick. This is Vetted. Let's jump in. This is juicy. So, breaking news. Let's just jump in and then we'll go from there. Again, Mike Disclosure from Twitter. Breaking news. A confidential source from within the Senate has revealed the details of a phone conversation between President Joe Biden and Senator Chuck Schumer that recently took place. Here are some of the key excerpts from the call. Again, this is from the phone transcripts from the White House. So supposedly this is word for word accurate. Let's find out. Schumer. Hello, Mr. President. Biden. Chuck. What the hell is going on down there with your amendment? Schumer. It's the usual suspects again. They are surgically removing key provisions to appease their main funding sources. Biden. Chuck, the reason I sent Jake Sullivan to help you write that amendment was so that this bullshit wouldn't be happening. Schumer. It looks like their interests outweigh yours at this point, Joe. Biden. And this is the juicy part right here. Chuck, you know that I needed that amendment of yours to pass so that it would distract the media and the public from focusing on RFK Jr. running against me. His family is considered to be fucking American royalty. I didn't need to be running against another fucking Kennedy for my last term in office. Schumer. Joe, you could always declassify limited information that would indicate that we are aware of something in our skies, but we don't know what it is yet. Biden. That might open up a Pandora's box of shit that I don't want to deal with right now. Let the next asshole who gets elected to this job deal with it. Schumer. I understand, Mr. President. Okay. Wow. This call shed light on political landscape and the motivations behind certain actions. This exclusive report provides insight into the political strategies and concerns of top officials in Washington, D.C. As always, my commitment is to keep the public informed and to ensure that the truth is brought to light. Stay tuned for further updates and developments on this story. So right here, and this guy asks, how do you know this? He writes, Osvaldo, I have confidential sources from within the Senate who have access to phone transcripts. As a researcher for over 30 years, I'm sure you know how important it is to keep sources' information private. Well, no one's asking you to reveal the sources, Mike Disclosure, but I got to admit, I've covered his stuff before on the channel here, but I got to admit this. I mean, it just rings BS left and right for me. First of all, I just don't think this is a real conversation. Who talks like this? This is exactly what you would want him to say. Right, if you're writing a script, this is exactly what you would have him say. I just don't think he's just like laying it out exactly. I needed you to pass right here. Chuck, you know that I needed that amendment of yours to pass so that it would distract the media and the public from focusing on RFK Jr. running against me. I mean, literally, right? Like the perfect phrase right there to clip out. I just don't buy this, y'all, at all. I don't buy this 1,000%. Now, I'm not saying that conversations haven't been had about UAP legislation, and I'm not saying there's not some dubious parts to those conversations, but I don't think this is it. At least not like this. And I'm not saying this isn't going on, but I don't think this conversation happened exactly like this because they're saying this is word for word from the phone transcripts. They're not saying I overheard this conversation. They're not saying anything like that. They're saying this is exactly the words they use. This was just noted from an actual phone call conversation. And I just don't buy it. Who talks like this? People just don't talk like this, y'all. Okay, I've worked in script writing and that sort of thing, worked with tons of, I've interviewed tons of actors, directors, all kinds. I've done my own kind of shorts and that kind of stuff, written scripts myself, dialogue. I've taken acting classes. People just don't talk like this. It's just that simple. This is not how people talk in real life. Plus, when Biden says this stuff about, I need focusing, JFK running against me, his family is considered to be fucking American royalty, all this stuff. Schumer doesn't respond to any of that. Schumer's response is, well, Joe, you could always declassify limited information that would indicate. Who gives a canned response like this? This is not like real talk, real conversation going back and forth between two people. It's too perfect. I don't believe this. I don't think anybody talks like this. I don't think Schumer talks like this. I don't think Biden talks like this. I don't think this conversation took place. I think this source or sources, because he says sources, right? This guy, Mike Disclosure, nothing against him. I just think his source is totally feeding him absolute nonsense. And I can't believe he just posted it on Twitter. Just here you go. I just don't believe this, y'all. At all. What part of this is sticking out to y'all? What seems odd? The responses, right, seem odd back and forth. Why would this be the response from Schumer to Biden after Biden says this? Like, he doesn't even acknowledge anything that he said here. Well, Joe, you could always declassify limited information that would indicate that we are aware of something in our skies, but we don't know what it is yet. Who talks like that? Who says something like that? I mean, that like totally sounds written out of a speech. Chuck, the reason I said Jake Sullivan to help you write that amendment so this bullshit wouldn't be happening. I mean, I just don't believe this. Again, I'm not saying that that's not what happened, but do you really think that Joe Biden said this stuff? I don't. Now, could that be the case that Joe does want, President Biden does want a distraction from RFK Jr., from the UAP legislation? That is possible. But not from this conversation. Not in my mind. I just don't believe this at all. I don't know. What do y'all think? Again, I'm just trying to point to things that just stick out. It just doesn't make any sense. These responses just don't make any sense. You tell me President Biden would just flat out say that? I needed to distract the media and the public from focusing on, right? I mean, literally a conspiracy theorist's wet dream to hear this, right? Exactly what everyone thinks is happening. I just don't buy it. It's too crazy. It just doesn't seem real. I mean, and I tweeted, dude, there is no way this conversation took place. I would never trust that source ever again. Yeah. And he says sources. And that's the thing with sources. How does this guy vet his sources, right? Who does he check? Does he get multiple? See, guys, this is why I don't want people coming and telling me stuff. That's why I've always said on this channel, don't come telling me stuff. If you're willing to tell your stuff, no problem. But you have to put your name in your face, and we'll put you on camera. That's the only way we'll do stuff. It can't be anonymous. It can't be some sort of, I'll tell you some secrets. Because we get emails, y'all. I get messages, secret info. I don't pay attention to any of that nonsense because this is exactly what can happen. Because if I'm honest, this makes me question this guy's credibility, Mike Disclosure, that he's just willing to put that out there without verifying it, right? And he'll never know if it's true or not. Does that make sense? But I'm curious. We'll follow up. We'll find out what's next. But yeah. This is why I don't have sources. This is why I don't have people tell me this stuff, because you get fed stuff to make you look like an idiot. And it totally ruins your credibility, because now I will double check anything that comes from this guy now, right? From Mike Disclosure. Just for that reason. I'll have to take it with a grain of salt. I mean, it's just so obviously fake to me, this. It just cannot be real. Let's read it one last time before we head out, just so y'all can get one last taste of it. So, Schumer, hello, Mr. President. Biden, Chuck, what the hell is going on down there with your amendment? So far, it sounds realistic, but this is where it starts to get not. It's the usual suspects again. They are surgically removing key provisions to appease their main funding sources. First of all, who's they, right? Like, who is they that he's bringing up that Chuck is saying? Biden, Chuck, the reason I sent Jake Sullivan to help you write that amendment was so that this bullshit wouldn't be happening. It looks like their interests outweigh yours at this point, Joe. Biden, Chuck, you know that I needed that amendment of yours to pass so that it would distract the media and the public from focusing on RFK Jr. running against me. His family is considered to be fucking American royalty. I didn't need to be running against another fucking Kennedy for my last term in office. Joe, you could always declassify limited information that would indicate that we are aware of something in our skies, but we don't know what it is yet. That might open up a Pandora's box of shit that I don't want to deal with right now. Let the next asshole who gets elected to this job deal with it. I understand, Mr. President. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all, y'all. What do y'all think? Y'all tell me in the comments, what's your spidey sense? What's it telling you? I just don't buy this. Again, I'm not saying that this isn't true. I'm just saying this conversation to me is not true. It's an interesting premise, right? But I don't think this amendment would distract the public and the media from focusing on RFK Jr. Does that make sense? That doesn't even make sense. Like, how would that distract? If they're actually thinking politically in the White House, this is not what they're thinking, y'all, at all. You know who we need? Someone like Sagar and Jetty. We need some political analysts to analyze this because just politically it doesn't make sense. Who's going to be distracted by the UAP amendment and not focus on RFK Jr., right? That if that would have passed, it's not like it would have been all over the place and then they wouldn't be covering RFK Jr. I mean, he's got his own problems in the media. The media barely covers him anyway. What are we talking about? Who needs the distraction? It just doesn't make any sense. I don't think that's on their radar at all. You know what I mean? Their biggest concern is Trump. I just don't believe this, y'all. So anyway, tell me what y'all think in the comments. Let me know. This is Patrick with Vetted. Thank you guys so much for watching. We got a lot of stuff coming up. We'll see you guys on the next video. Don't forget, hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button, y'all. Again, we're trying to reach 3,000 before Christmas. So if not, before the new year. So anyway, thank y'all again for watching. We'll put out a new video every day, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see you guys on the next video. Remember, every day is a gift. I'm Patrick, y'all. Peace.